the church, you love the Lord, but you don't remember that road to Damascus conversion story. This is for you. Perhaps you don't have one. At number one, you don't remember because you were young, and like so many events of your youth, you just plain forgot. It's possible. Now, I personally, God can save anybody he wants to, any single time he wants to. I just don't happen to think that God typically saves young children. But even so, do you remember stuff that happened to you really when you were 12, 13? I don't remember what happened to me like 5 minutes ago. Do you? Okay, I think I sang the Fig Newton song. Was that this show? I don't remember. Was it? I think when I did this too. Look, this is why you memorize Bible verses as a child. I remember the Fig Newton story. Do I remember a Bible verse from reading the Bible this morning? No. Memorize them now, young person. Maybe you just forgot. That's all. But don't worry, we got some help for you in just a bit. Number two, perhaps your regeneration was more subtle as you grow up being instructed in godliness. You grew up learning these things, acting this way, and so maybe it just didn't seem like a radical conversion. Number three, perhaps you always loved Jesus, and therefore your affections were not radically changed. Jesus loves me, this I know. Jesus loves the little children. And you sang it your whole life, and I love you. Oh, that's the Barney song. Scrap that one. You loved Jesus. And so when you got saved, it just didn't seem that radical. Is that why? Number four, perhaps you were so young and sheltered, which is great, you didn't have some time to rack up those serious sins. You never committed murder. You just didn't. And so it's like, wow, I just never really felt anything like that. Don't panic. Number five, perhaps you just don't remember vividly when your obedience went from being external to internal, which can be a slightly more difficult distinction to make. That's your conversion story. When it went from being outside to inside, you did it because you wanted to, not because your parents told you to. And number six, perhaps you don't have a conversion story because you'd not gone through puberty when God saved you. Now, I don't have a text for this, but historically, the church and Judaism has associated membership with puberty. There's something about puberty. To repent from sexual sins, it's not the only sin, obviously, that we repent from, but it's a big component of human nature. And if you haven't gone through that season, maybe that's why it didn't seem so dramatic. And nextly, perhaps you've heard so many dramatic conversion stories. I was a drug smuggling crackhead that you have forgotten that a conversion story doesn't need to sound like a movie script. Every conversion that God saves a human being is an amazing miracle. It doesn't need to sound like it's made for TV. Number eight, perhaps you don't feel like you repented intensely enough. I got news for you. Nobody ever does. Little tension here. You should repent intensely. But note this, you'll never repent intensely enough. Nobody ever does. That's why we need saving. And here is a list so that you can know you're saved. Try to remember the season when your obedience transferred from parental to personal. Not the minute, not the second, but when did you go from, it doesn't matter what mom and dad says. I want to be obedient to him because I want to obey him, not just mom and dad.